Hello students, in this video lecture we will look into PHP error handling and validation, a small section of the module 4 which comes under chapter 15 of Randy Connolly textbook. So this part includes the subsections like what are errors and exceptions, PHP error reporting, PHP error and exception handling. Only these three subsections are there for your syllabus. Rest of all are like database related, are not covered by your syllabus. So let us see these one by one. First we'll look into what are errors and exceptions. We have three different categories of errors and errors, like expected errors, warnings and fatal errors. Expected errors and warnings you are commonly observing, like syntactical errors we say, warnings which may be logical, may not harm or cause any difficulty in producing the output, but you may not get the output as you expect. Fatal errors that come because of some crash or some problem with the hardwares, right? So we'll see how it is identified by type of error is identified in the query. So here we'll take one query string. So you know that when you are submitting a form data through get method, it is sent through query string, right? Query string is constructed. For example, if you have a form which has got the text boxes having the names as ID, name 1, name 2 and name 3, and some user has entered these values like 0 for ID, name 1 and name 2 for both he has entered as name 1 he has not entered anything, so that's why it is left as empty, and name 2 he has entered as Smith, and name 3 is space is typed. So you can observe that when you are typing a special character, it is encoded like this percentage symbol and ASCII equivalent of that particular key which has been pressed by the user. So this is a, imagine that this is a query string generated when a form is filled by a particular user. So on the server side program, when we are accessing this forms data, we use one particular function, that is set. So we have already seen this, whether a particular this function is to test whether a particular field has been filled or not. So what we can, how do we access is $_get is a built-in array, right, which is used to access the value sent through get method, right? So it is accessing the value sent at the ID field, whose at the field or at the HTML element whose name is ID. So it is checking whether it is entered or not. So user has entered it as 0, so it returns true, right? And next we are checking for presence of name 1, it also returns true. That you can notice that a missing value for a parameter is still considered to be is set here, right? So next is set $_get name 2, as there is a value is returned true. Name 3 is also having certain value entered, that is space is entered, so that is also set as true. So in this case, only when you are entering any parameter that is having, that is not being labeled in HTML, like name 4 is, there is no element with the name as a name 4, so this is returning false. So what it shows in summary is it only recognizes a missing parameter which is not there in the form. So if you want to identify whether the value has been entered or not, in that case you can check it with empty, right? So the purpose of using set and empty is different. Set checks whether there is a field by that name or not, whereas empty checks whether that field is filled by the user or not. In this case you can just see here $_get ID as a parameter to empty, name 1, name 2, name 1, both are returning true, right? Whereas when you go for name 2, it is set as false. Name 3 is also set as false, returns false. That means it is not empty, right? So this is not empty, it is saying it is not empty, whereas these two are empty, right? This is returning empty is returned true. The reason is value 0 is considered as empty, right? So value of 0 is considered as empty. That is the reason why this also has been written true. So if it is a part of the value, then you have to set it as a we call it as a legitimate value in this application. Say if you have entered it as 10, then it is not returning true, rather it returns the false. It is not empty, it is shown. And name 4 is not present at all, so that's why it is returning true, saying that it is a empty field. Okay, so this is how you can identify whether a field is present or not and whether it is filled or not. So whether it is present or not, you can check it by is set, and is filled by the user or not is checked by empty function. So what are exceptions that we'll see here? An exception refers to the objects that are of type exceptions which are arriving during the runtime, right? So these are resolved or handled by using try catch blocks of the language construct, which we have seen in Java also, right? So we'll see about error reporting first. In error reporting specifies which type of errors are to be reported to the user. So you can set like log errors is set to 1. It is said that you are making the log errors on. So you can also set by using log errors equal to on, or by initial setting you can use that the type of the error and whether it should be displayed or not, it should be reported or not, that is set with 1 or 0 value as the second parameter. Whether it should be displayed or not, that it can be set by display error setting. Display errors is set with 0, saying that you are turned off the display error, that is it is not displayed on the browser when there is an error on the PHP. We always say, when you are designing any page, it should not be shown to the end user, it should be handled by the program itself. So this is one way where you can avoid this, but it should be handled properly by the programmer. Okay, so PHP error reporting specifies whether error messages should be sent to the server or not. That also can be done by turning it on. So how to handle this, that we'll see here. For example, error handling that we'll see here. Like for example, you are checking, you are associating a database connection for your program. So $error equal to mysqli underscore connect error is one possible kind of error that we get when the connection is not successful. That error is stored in this $error variable. So if it is not equal to null, that means it is filled with some error, then you are handling that error, correct? So this is how we do it, and how to handle that error, that part is written in this particular code. You can just observe here, it is somewhat similar to the syntax is somewhat similar to our Java syntax, exception throwing function throw exception $message equal to null, throws new exception, right? Try block is there, that is you are trying to run this code which possibly generates an error, that is exception. When you are connecting to a database, right? mysqli underscore connect is used for connecting to the database server through MySQL, DB host user, DB password, name, database name, these all are placed here. Then you have a catch block. When error has occurred, these things gets displayed, right? You are displaying a message that exception is got at what line, and you are printing at what stack level it is displayed. So it will be finally is a block that is getting executed after try or after catch. Okay, so this is similar to our Java syntax. So this is how we can handle the errors and the exceptions in the PHP. So that's all about fourth module. Thank you for watching the video.